One of the best ways to see and explore a city is by bike, and there is no better way to connect with the community's local trails than by hooking up with a local cycling club. Coming up next on Pedal the Springs, we're going to hear from the gang at one of Colorado Springs' coolest clubs. Welcome and roll on in to Pedal the Springs podcast, where we banter about all things biking in Colorado Springs and the Pikes Peak region. I'm your host, Tori Giffen, self-appointed ambassador for cycling in the Springs and owner of the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort. And what I don't know about biking in this area, my friends do. We are coming to you from the Studio 809 Community Podcast Studio at the Next Us, a professional cooperative environment for small businesses in downtown Colorado Springs. And this is our 21st Pedal the Springs podcast and our very first one coming to you with video. You can see I brought all the beautiful people for this. So I'm going to introduce my guest today. This is one of my best bicycling buddies in the entire world. Gail Smickless.
Hey.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell our story about how we became sisters through cycling. So glad to have you, Gail.
Glad to be here, Tori.
Woo! I'm bringing the beauty today, pulling out all the stops. We got Todd Chamberlain. Welcome, Todd. Part of our Buffalo Lodge bike tribe. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, Tori. Appreciate you bringing me here. This is fun.
I know. We did this really on the spur of the moment today, too. So it's awesome that you guys could all come together. So, and then I have the beautiful Sheila Wilson. Welcome, Sheila.
Thanks for having me, Tori.
This is her first podcast, and she's like, oh, man, I would have said no if I knew it was on video.
I'm going to kill you later.
But we'll tell our stories later. But, okay. I mean, I've even gotten her to ride unicycles and parades and all kinds of stuff with our bike club. It's been amazing. And then, oh, man, I mean, this guy is so special to me. I have been leading bike rides in Colorado Springs for over a decade through the Chick-fil-A free breakfast rides and Colorado Springs Cycling Club. And then when I started the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort 7 years ago, I was the only ride leader I could count on. And so for most of that, 6 out of the 7 years, I'd say at least, it was all about me. And occasionally I'd go out of town and get a sub. But we had this one guy that would just show up every week and just had the biggest smile and the best energy in the entire world. And I was just like, man, if I could ever get that guy, to lead my rides and be part of my real tribe at the Buffalo Lodge, I would be so lucky. And one day we did, and this is Jersey Mike. Let's give it up for Jersey Mike. Yeah.
Thank you, Tori.
Our ride leader. I mean, I love you so much. If I can't be there, you're better than having me there. I think that everybody can agree now. I used to think that the rides had to be all about me, and you take it to the next level so that I can go on rum drinking bicycle tours of Florida once in a while and get away. And I know that my ride group is in good hands with you. So this is Jersey Mike, and he is the ride leader for one of Colorado Springs' definitely coolest club. And it only seemed fitting that for our first video podcast and for one of our first club interview podcasts that we bring on the Buffalo Lodge has their very own bike club. We are the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe.
Bike Tribe.
Yes. Bike Tribe. Yeah, we are, and oh my gosh, I think we are one of the coolest clubs. I mean, you've got the oldest clubs. They are the oldest, but I'm part of them too. They're cool. We got like the racer clubs. We got the female clubs, but I think that we create an amazing, unique community through the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe. It doesn't matter. We do pretty much kind of a recreational intermediate to intermediate advanced ride. We do rides year round right out of the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort. And whether you're a local or you're coming to the Springs, you could come and join our rides, and Mike's going to lead them.
Yep, I'll be there. Every Saturday. I'll be there making routes for you.
So he comes up with our routes each week. He leads our faster ride group. And tell me what the Bike Tribe means to you. I mean, like, how did you find the Bike Tribe?
So this is going to be a long story, but the first time I found the Bike Tribe was when I did my first group ride with Colorado Springs Cycling Club, and you happened to be part of that group that day. And then after going for the ride and talking with you, you said, hey, I do the Saturday ride every Saturday. You should come ride with me. Come ride with my group. Come be a part of my tribe.
So I stole you.
You stole me pretty much. And then 6 days later, I showed up to your ride, and I haven't missed really a ride since. I've been there every Saturday for about 3 or so years now.
3 or so years. By the way, I think I still remember, was that at the Ferris or Legacy, the brand new Ferris Legacy Trailhead? And our club is also, we partner up with the Colorado Springs Cycling Club for our Saturday rides. And so it was a Colorado Springs Sunday social ride.
Correct.
And was I leading or just there that day? I think I was just there.
You were just there that day because I remember Bob Boyd was leading that ride.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, you're young and fun. You got to come ride.
That's right.
And you got me, and you still got me now.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm super honored. And everybody, I mean, the thing that struck me about you is nobody's ever done this with any of our other riders, but people come up to me all the time about you. I remember Scott offered, I shouldn't even tell secrets, but there are so many people that just think you're such amazing people that they just want to do whatever they can to make life more fun and possible for you. So you have mad respect, and now you have the respect of the Bike Club. What do you guys want to say about? I mean, we should just do a Jersey Mike appreciation morning, love up. He didn't know it was going to be this, but really, if you think about the tribe the way that it is today, we've had the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe. It's been going strong for 7 years now. We do year-round rides every Saturday. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning in the off season, and then we go to 8:30 in the morning during the summer. We have a Monday night ride that we do, and then many other events. But really, these days, like, Mike is the man with the plan for the Bike Tribes. Right. What do you want to say about Mike?
I think Mike is super awesome, and I enjoy seeing him at all the rides on Saturdays that I'm actually able to go to. I trust him as much as I trust you to just keep us safe along the route as well, because that's really important to me. That's why I ride in a group. So thank you. Also, when I had bike issues, he was there to help me. So he's super knowledgeable in that department. And he's also a hiker. So our Wednesday night hikes, he's there supporting the lodge and everyone out there. So thank you, Mike.
And they're Monday, but they're Monday night.
The Monday night
that's
hikes
okay.
at 5:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in the summer, we actually have our Garden Gears Buffalo Beers bike ride every Monday night. We ride out of the Buffalo Lodge and around Garden of the Gods, and then we come back and we drink together. It's great community. We even started doing community meals, which was really fun this year. But when it starts getting dark before 6 o'clock, we move to a hiking club, and Mike also leads our hikes. We like Mike. Can you tell that?
Yeah.
What about you, Todd? How'd you come to the club, and why did you join the Buffalo? There's a lot of clubs in town. What made you join the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe?
Well, I got lucky in that I was introduced to the lodge last year, and actually it was yoga, I think, was the first thing I did there, and then I came to see some bands and karaoke, and I think the first bike ride I might have done out of the lodge was coffin races for the parade last year. So this year when I moved here, I'd been lucky enough to have been introduced to the lodge, and I started the first Saturday ride of the year, January, whatever that was, 4th or 5th, and I lived just down the road, so big part of it was proximity. I live very much right next to Garden of the Gods on purpose. a group of people riding. I thought it'd be fun to go, and yeah, Mike was there leading it, and I met an incredibly welcoming community.
So you're new to town, and you had an instant community because you found the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe, right?
Right. And it's funny because I almost feel like such a regular now. It's been really cool to see that happen to other people,
Yes.
and like I feel really proud to be part of it. But that's a neat part of the club. Is I think it's hard to move into a community a lot of times, and when you can find somebody, and we have every ability, like you said, there's different clubs that you can belong to if you're looking for a particular thing, and we tend to be everything, which is really cool. So yeah, so you guys are both a big part of that, so it's nice to have met you.
And you even stepped up. I mean,
he has.
Big time. So tell me about that, Mike, because, you become one of us and a regular, and we put you to work.
We do if you can handle it, that's for sure. No, but Todd's been a huge, tremendous help this past season, just helping with rides and everything. Because a ride is only as good as the sweep is. Mm-hmm. And Todd has been my go-to reliable sweep for this season, and I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you. It's been an interesting position to learn, basically.
Yeah.
So, and then the morning you had the mechanical, that I just decided, I'm not sure if I'm really ready to ride. I'm going to go easy on coffee. And Mike's like, I think Tori's going to ask you to lead the ride. But, that's really cool, too, because it, makes me step up. So it's nice to have people that can challenge you. And we've certainly challenged each other a lot. So.
Yeah.
Well, every bike club needs people that, that do step up to make it possible and make it happen. And we've been really fortunate to, have great people that do that and can spot out some leadership talents and just some really big hearts that, can hang back, because it is a special person that it takes to sweep a ride and be there with the people that show up that aren't ready, don't have their tires aired up, they're not quite ready for the ride, and, or if anybody gets a flat, to be able to fix that flat. And it makes the difference between somebody having, a bad experience and a great experience that they'll come back for. You usually play to, it's important, I think, to play to your weakest link and stuff when you're leading a ride, and help ensure that they have a good experience. The hard riders are going to ride. They're going to do their thing. They're going to grind. Grinder's going to grind. Yep. That's what I got to say. Right. Grinders are going to grind. You can't stop them. But it's that new person that you can really make a big difference for, and it does make all the difference. So, yeah. Well, my friend Sheila, I'm like, you were kind of new to our club. Is it last year? Or when did you join the club?
It's a bit blurry, but I think it was last year. I mean, I actually had heard about Buffalo Lodge. You'll love this. Via an old friend, Greg Miller, but also some from friends of ours. I've worked in bike shops in different places, and a friend of mine, Brian Deemer, and his wife had worked with me in bike shops, and they were moving from the northwest coast to Colorado Springs, and they stayed in your lodge.
That's amazing.
And, but it took me a while to connect everything. So I think the first ride might have been through the Colorado Springs Cycling Club. Okay. And then, and so now I'm both. I'm part of both. But
I'm
anyway,
both.
Yeah.
He's both.
I'm both.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been great. Yeah. Yeah. I talk you guys up to a lot of people, even if they don't cycle.
So
come.
you should just come drink with us.
Come hear
it's
music.
Not all about drinking.
No, it's not.
Although I am grateful to have our own bar at the lodge. So I feel that podcasts go really nice with some good moonshine and some cider and Dr. Pat's.
Amen to that.
Podcast powered by a little bit. I forgot your kombucha.
That's okay.
I said, we have Springs Culture kombucha too. We do serve kombucha. I'm a bad friend. I will take you out afterward. So what is it that you like about this club?
I like, others have said it, but that it's very welcoming. And I just love that, like you said, Tori, if someone, kind of being with the weakest link as well as allowing those who are fast to go fast. And I find both you and Mike are really good as leaders, and we have a lot of good people helping as sweeps or whatever. And it's just a good group, and I've also, because I'm fairly, I've only been in the Springs a little less than 3 years, and I didn't know any of the streets until, especially down this way, until I started riding with you guys. So
it really is one of the best ways.
And I made new friends, I've moved a lot in my life. And so connecting with people is important to me. And that was one way I was connecting with some friends. So it's been really great.
That's
Thank
neat.
you.
So that is the intent. I mean, I think that are you riding with Mike's group more now, or no? Or are you still?
I'm a little. I could probably ride with Mike's if it was just all flat or downhill.
Okay.
But when it gets to the uphill, I'm pretty slow. Actually, your mom and I rode with him one week, and she and I were behind.
Okay.
And I think she was ahead of me.
My
She's
72-year-old
Park?
mom.
Yes.
Is it the Palmer Park ride? I remember
That
now.
was great.
My mom is a beast on a
Yes, she
bike.
is. She's amazing.
She's doing amazing. So, well, I modeled this because I led a bike club in Phoenix back just out of college for a TV station I worked for, helping leading training rides and things. Cool. And just learning how to lead a good ride. But it was when I moved to Colorado Springs, 22 years ago now, I was a new mom. I didn't know anybody. And really finding the Colorado Springs Cycling Club changed my life. Yeah. It literally changed my life. I went from knowing everybody in my community in Phoenix to knowing no one, and just trying to find my people. And when I found that club, I found my people, and they were amazing. I got to learn the trails, but I also was now not just me as a person. I had kids in tow, and they helped me, fix flats. They helped show me the trails. They would hold my babies while I had to go to the bathroom. And, they went from eating lunches at Patty Jewett to, getting Subway sandwiches and going to a playground so my kids could play. And I was part of the Colorado Springs Cycling Club, and I still am, but really that was my family. When I was a stay-at-home mom for 6 years, I would just clean up the house in the morning and then throw the kids in the trailer and go out for the day on an adventure. And it was just the best way to get to know. And I fell in love with Colorado Springs by bike. I'm super grateful to the Colorado Springs Cycling Club. I'm now a board member of the club, and our Saturday rides are also an official ride of the Colorado Springs Cycling Club. So we very much like to work with them and trying to ensure, because I think it's good to have mentors too. They are the oldest and longest running cycle club in the community. They've done so much for advocacy for biking in the community. They've had their own advocacy group for a long time, even going to the Capitol to help advocate for bike issues. One of their members actually helped open up Pikes Peak to bicycles. Al Brody did that, and then some of those members have become some of the best bike experts and people in the community. Like Alan Beauchamp was the president of the Colorado Springs Cycling Club before. So, I've had a good big brother, big sister model in this, and it was actually Sarah Hill, who leads their Saturday coffee rides. Her dad was my first ride leader in the spring, Stan Hill.
She's great.
And he taught me how to lead a safe ride and to be able to, rally people in a good spot. And I mean, knock on wood, it's only those people that have really gone rogue that have problems on
This is true.
our ride.
This is true.
If you don't stop at an intersection, that is not our fault.
That's right.
And if you are going too fast on a trail that might have a few bumps in it, but we lead a pretty safe ride. And I mean, over a decade I've been leading the rides now, and you've been leading them for 3 years now, and riding. You get to know these trails, and all those little divots and spots by heart. And a good club will tell you when they're coming and signal you. But talking about that, we met through the Colorado Springs Cycling Club, my bestie Gail.
Yeah, that was my first ride too. Like Mike said, it was his first ride. He met you, and it was my first ride at the cycling club, and I met Tori, the Tori. Tori Nato.
Tori Nato, yeah, that's why I am quite something. So tell me about that.
Well, I was a little nervous because I had never done a meetup thing before. It's kind of like a.
So you're military.
Yes.
You're military, and you're fairly new to the Springs, or?
I wasn't exactly new. I've actually been here 13 years, like longer than most military people. But I've just.
But you weren't
floated.
biking.
I wasn't biking. I had biked before, but I took a break from it for a while, and then I just decided I need to do it again. So I didn't want to go by myself. And I heard about this meetup app. Felt like a dating app. Felt weird. So I'm like, okay, I'll try this.
Because I'm sure you have no trouble in that area.
Well,
I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, I've tried it like once. Didn't work out. So yeah, I tested it out, and everyone was really nice. It was one of those latte rides.
Yeah.
And then
With Sarah.
And you were really the only one I kind of connected with along the bike ride, because you start to just go like ride next to someone and you're talking, and either you want to have a conversation or you're not really into it, and you just kind of keep going. So with you, I was into it. Yeah. And we got there and we had our latte, and there was this place.
I could tell you had a little wild in you, or my kind of people.
Well, I think we were the youngest ones on the ride. Not to like say it's an old person club.
Yeah,
it was just an older crowd. Right. So I was just really thankful to be on that ride and meet you. And we found a little place called like Donuts and Noodles, and we thought that was really interesting. That was the title of the restaurant. So Tori, she got donuts, and we shared donuts, and it was just like a little friend date, and we've been friends ever since. That was 7 years ago, because you had just bought the lodge.
I just bought the lodge.
Yeah. So we had our latte and our donuts.
She's my favorite pool girl.
And we rode back home, and I think ever since then I've been on Buffalo Lodge rides. I don't think I ever did another one again with the Springs Club. I just did it with you.
But you also like joined our so we don't just ride our weekly rides out of the lodge. We also go on some team adventures, and you've even joined me for our team ride across Iowa.
I did.
We have our team van now and everything, and you did that trek, and it was so much fun to have you representing in Iowa, riding with like 20,000 plus riders and us.
That was quite an adventure, and I really needed that adventure because COVID had just like it was starting to go away, and we had just been cooped up for so long that it felt like I really needed that. And after that trip, you just realize you learn so much about yourself and other riders in Iowa, and it was just like the experience of a lifetime. So I want to thank Tori because she kind of convinced me.
Pushed you out of your comfort zone there.
Exactly, yeah.
It was very fun.
Yeah, we had a blast.
We have a good time. I mean, there really is no way of, if you haven't, I mean, when I used to organize rides for Chick-fil-A, it was a lot of people's first group ride ever. There was something about offering a free chicken breakfast if you came out for a bike ride that got people off their couches, and like joining a community bike ride. And I mean, not to name names. Well, no, I will name names, like Jimmy Clary. I was his first group leader. Michael Watry, Amy Batson. I think it was her first group bike ride. But it's so fun. Like once you get people out and kind of a more casual, it's amazing how you can connect over these great little mini adventures throughout the community and just really become great friends in a way. I think we connect fast when we're on a bike. Like you just, there's just a special camaraderie that you have when you're doing these little adventures together. And some of my favorite times were like with a little subgroup during COVID, where we would just meet and ride socially distanced, but still get out as a community and things like that. But so should we talk about like what our rides look like? If you are out there and you want to know, like, is the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe, we like that name, Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe, is that the ride for me? So how do you know if that's right for you? And what do we do? What are our rides, distances? Where do we go? Mike, you share.
Okay. So first of all, I would just like to share my perspective on what the Buffalo Lodge is to me and what I try to embody when I come to ride my bike with all these wonderful people who show up all the time. But for me, what I think separates us from like other clubs is, like I said, what I try to embody is that first and foremost, we're all people. we're all people first and cyclists second. So I try to look at everybody like they're human. You know, I treat everybody as just human people, just like me. We all experience the same things, good and bad. So I try to just feed off of that and say, let's go for a bike ride. Let's just enjoy the nice day. The sun's out. Let's go pedal and just enjoy it.
I sense that.
Yes.
But okay, so side track there. So we'll get back to the rides now. So our Saturday rides, which are at 10 o'clock now, because it's off season, I try to make them at least 2 hours long. Sometimes they go over, depending if we stop or take pictures or whatnot.
Or who the people are.
Or who the people are, who
Right.
shows up that
Yeah.
day. There's a bunch of variables. But typically we have 10 different destinations, 10 or so destinations that we kind of rotate through.
And we're in an amazing location to start those rides.
We sure are.
Like, what do you love about where the Buffalo Lodge start line is?
Oh, it's beautiful. We're directly south of the Garden of the Gods. You could go do a full loop of the garden, and it's like 8 miles and back to the lodge. But we just had a great location. No matter which direction you go, you can go west, hit all the hills in Manitou. You could go east to downtown to Memorial Park. You could go north, Blodgett, Flying W, go visit our friends over at Criterion Bike Shop, which is another popular one. We're very close to the bottom and base of Gold Camp Road, which is another just local favorite road that
Love
everybody
that.
loves to ride. But yeah, we go through UCCS campus. That seems to be a club favorite. There's a good hill leading up there and a nice descent bombing down to the University Plaza that everybody
You
enjoys.
do get to know them by heart, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Every turn.
Oh yeah, I know every crack, every bike lane in town at this point.
Every biker's crack, too.
Well, I'm usually in the front, so that's Todd's job. That's Todd over there looking at all the butt crack.
I just
Okay.
want to say, check your Speedos in the, or not Speedos, check your bike pants in the mirror before you head out. Make sure that you haven't been wearing them too long, you know.
It's funny you brought that up because yesterday I went out for a ride. I had 45 minutes. I live within a mile of the lodge, and I was going to go through the garden. And as soon as I turned the corner off of my street, there was a rider from the tribe that I was like, I think I recognize her. You know, and sure enough, so yeah, we rode through the garden for a little while. She went one way, I went the other because she was going home. But, you know, it's kind of neat that just on a middle of the day spontaneous ride, there I am meeting somebody that I've met. And yeah, I could tell her pedal stroke from behind. So yeah, it wasn't her crack, it was her pedal.
We weren't going off of that. So, and then we love the zoo and Seven Falls. I mean, there are so many beautiful places to ride in Colorado Springs, and we are talking road biking here. So our goal in the future is to have a regular mountain bike ride. Right now, we just suggest that you go connect with the Trails in Taproom Trailblazers on a Wednesday night. You know, Women's Mountain Biking Association has regular rides that all meet right down the street from us, so you can come stay at the lodge and then go out and ride with a cool club. But you know, we host our own gravel race, but we don't have our own weekly gravel ride, so we're working on that. I think I might like to start an e-bike club.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe a tandem club, because I have some tandems too. So you might see some more offerings coming up in the future from us. But right now we're talking about road biking. You can bring whatever kind of bike you can ride. We have people on fixie bikes that
Yes.
can keep up with us going up some of the toughest climbs. That just happened last weekend, right? You had Lieutenant Dan
coming by,
on his
yeah.
fixie, keeping up for what did you guys do last week? Palmer Park?
Last week we did a ride to Criterion
Oh,
Bike
Criterium.
Shop.
Okay.
Yep.
But did he have any trouble keeping up on that fixie?
He was perfectly capable, standing up on the handlebars,
Standing up on the
surfing down
handlebars
bike
and
trails.
surfing. We get some characters out there. What's really fun, I think, is when we get somebody that is coming and staying. I mean, the whole idea for me was what makes the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort a bicycle resort, and it is having regular, you know, rides that people can connect with. And you know, when I see other hotels, they're charging for those rides. You have to pay for a guided tour to go somewhere. The amazing thing with our club is your first ride is free. Then we do suggest that you become a member. But you can come and ride with a local club and learn our local trails. And it is so amazing when we get a guest at the lodge that, you know, like, they get to come and ride with locals, learn the local trails, hang out and have a beer in our bar afterwards. And it's quite a unique experience that I don't think that I know any other hotel offering free community bike rides that you can join and hook up with. And if you're coming to the lodge and road biking's not your thing, we have so many other groups. Every day of the week, we can point you in the direction of a different club that you can just pop in and join, or connect you with some of the local trails here for mountain biking and gravel. But it's super special. What time?
So I think it was a Monday. Actually, he might have come twice. There was a guy who came who was staying at the lodge with his wife and young kid. And when we get done with our rides, we do a victory loop around the lodge property, which is always
remind me to
awesome.
tell you more about that later.
Yeah.
So the wife and the kid are there. We're starting the victory loop, cheering the dad on, and it was like really neat that was going on.
Well, that's it. We now have this whole even finish line patio where, you can sit out there and drink and enjoy beers, or go shopping at Manitou, come back and, watch all the riders come in our patio. Sheila, you're going to have to go because
Yes.
Are you having your first massage
Well,
in a year?
In a year. I really need it.
You really need it. But what else? Anything else that you want to say to everybody about
I
the club,
can't-
or any other things that we missed?
It's just a great place, and like I said, I try to tell people about you guys and everything you're doing, and Mike, and I don't know.
And we're not just, we're all ages, all abilities.
Yes.
And one of the,
all kinds of there are lots of other activities that I haven't been able to join them, but I know about them, and it's awesome. The yoga and the hiking, the trail rides, all the different things you do. It's really amazing.
But you did participate in one of my favorite club events, and that is our annual, what was it, Mardi Gras parade or coffin races?
It was the coffin races.
It was the coffin races.
Yes.
So she can unicycle still.
Very good.
I'm 64.
Amazingly.
I mean, she can unicycle, and you unicycled with our entry in the coffin race parade last year, and you brought the pterodactyl unicyclist too.
She was that. Yes, my friend. She's awesome, Audrey.
But you are
wonderful.
quite the cyclist, and I mean, you're just amazing. Thank you so much for being part of our bicycling community here and part of our tribe, and for coming out at short notice today. Don't be late for your massage.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Tori.
we love you, Sheila.
guys are
Thank you
wonderful.
so much.
Thanks for coming, Sheila.
Yeah, I'm so glad you could make it out. So, well, I'll have to post pictures somewhere of her on her unicycle. I mean, she's and just such good energy. I love the diversity of everybody that we get, and it's just, and I mean, Sheila kicks my butt.
She's a strong rider.
She's a very strong rider. She kicks my. Although it doesn't take much. I'm more your, beer drinking bicyclist, but whatever.
Guilty.
You still show up.
You cannot judge a book by its cover. You just, all ages, all abilities. So, what was the one thing I said we have to come back to?
Victory loop.
The victory loop. So one of the traditions with the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe is that we do a victory loop, or a loop of gratitude around the lodge before you get off your bike and put it away.
Every ride.
And that is because when I had the dream for the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort 8 years ago now, I used to just take my Chick-fil-A bike rides. I used to make my bike groups go do a loop through the garden, and then I would take them through the Buffalo Lodge and tell them how I was going to own the hotel one day. And I was pretty, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was pretty certain I was going to do it if I set my mind to it. And so I'd make the group ride through it. I have to tell you that, like, Lee Willimon would be like, "Are you going to make us ride through that hotel again?" Like, why do we keep having to ride through the hotel? I'm like, I'm manifesting my, my destiny, and hang with me. And then the owner started being like, "Could you stop riding through our property all the time?" But yeah, heck yeah. Now every time we get back from a bike ride, we take that victory lap or the loop of gratitude to celebrate the fact that somebody with, no savings, no money, just a big heart and a big dream for a place that she could raise her kids and connect the biking community, could, work and play, and that I was able to make that dream happen. I think I should always celebrate and never take for granted, because, I should never take it for granted, because it's like, it's hard, and we need you people to come and visit in the off season too. That's one of the other things I need to say. Like, we are a biking destination, not just from May and Memorial Day to Labor Day. We are a biking destination year round. I mean, we have 300 days of shine, and we are a bike club that rides year round. It's just a matter of having the right gear. The only time that we don't ride, it's still scheduled. We have a ride scheduled every Saturday year round from the lodge. So you should come join us any time of year. It's always great community. But the only time we don't ride is if there's actual like heavy snow or ice on the ground. And what are you going to say?
I meant to tell you this off camera, but maybe we should switch those rides to hikes.
Oh,
we
have done that before. We have done that before. Show up anyway. Well, sometimes there's those conditions where people still don't even feel safe driving or whatever. Yeah. You're a mile away. Gail's all the way out east. She might not want to like risk life and limb to come
She's
out.
She's smarter than I am too. So.
If someone wants to pick me up, I would do that.
I might be able to find some volunteers for that, Gail.
Breakfast.
But yeah, I think that, when you can still show up, because what the weather looks like on one side of town in Black Forest or out on the east side of town is not the weather in Manitou Springs. And you may be trying to ride off the weather out there, and we are out having a magnificent bike ride in the garden covered in snow, but the streets are dry. So, I mean, do not write it off. Now, I do want to also give a shout out. We put on our own biking events. We have every year we have the Cycling Santa the first Saturday in December, and that is a Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe sponsored event that we get hundreds of people dressed in Santa suits riding through the springs. We have our own gravel race. I'm not sure whether we're going to be in. You got to pay attention. We might be in sometime August to October next year. The Rampart Rager, we have 50, 75, and 100K options for that. But we also sponsor a lot of rides in town. We've sponsored in the past, like the St. Patrick's Day ride through the community, the Starlight Spectacular ride through the community. You'll find our people, connected in some way with all the clubs. We also sponsor a lot of other clubs through the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe, like the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort. Like we sponsor the Women's Mountain Biking Association, SoCo Velo, the Colorado Springs Cycling Club, in addition to a lot of the trail building organizations. So we are a club and a community that gives back. So, I don't know. And then we have a great time together. I mean, there is nothing like sitting out on the patio or in the lodge, hanging out with you guys after a ride, and it's just pure joy watching the relationships form and the connections being made, and then people talking about, hey, I'm going to go do this ride, do you want to go? And it's also fun when you get the locals that are like talking to you, or the locals talking to the visitors, like, you should go try out this trail, and hey, I'll take you. That's amazing, right? You get you find a local friend to go ride with. So we're just a great place to hang out for bicyclists of all kinds.
Don't forget Meg's Bloody Marys.
Oh, and Meg's Bloody Marys. Meg in our bar she is amazing, and she makes a great Bloody Mary. And and then we do so much. There's live music every night at the lodge. We have yoga classes on Tuesday, Aqua Zumba in the summers on Wednesday. And so, we like to have a good time. And don't think that just because we're at a hotel that it means that you don't belong. What are you thinking, Mr. Mike?
I was just thinking back to what you were just saying, how it's important to ride with locals and to have people passionate about cycling. Because when I first moved here, it was amazing to be part of the Buffalo Lodge and to be around all these amazing people who were willing to show me around. We would go for the Saturday group ride and be like, I'm going to show you this road, Gold Camp. And I'd be like, okay, I'll try. I'll go for it, whatever that is. And you just build these connections, these mentor-teacher relationships, and they really just help elevate you as a cyclist and just as a person. And just because of that, it's really made me want to give back to all the people that I meet. I love when new people come from out of town. I just fill up with joy just trying to teach them and just regurgitate everything that I know about the city because I'm excited about it, and I just want them to experience it also.
I know you're new. I got you.
Yeah, come
you
with
have
me.
found your new family.
Let's keep
Look no
riding.
further. We are gonna hook you up, and there's so many families that are like born out of our family too. Like pre-COVID, we had some group of riders that came kind of new to the lodge and started riding together, and they started forming their own family, outside of it. You think about David Sweetman and Terry and Andy and Maria and Now, and like they formed a friend group through our club. They still come back and ride with us, but now they're going off and they're doing, I think they just did the Day of the Tread in Mexico. I did just see last night they all went to Depeche Mode together. I'm like, how did I get left out of the loop on that one? They created their own little activity family, and they all do their own rides and trips and everything together, and they still come back and connect with us. But we definitely spawn a lot of friendships and families that are pretty amazing. I mean, you've become part of my family by bike. We bought your son. I mean, you were at the lodge cleaning our pool the day before you gave birth to your son. And my mom's become like his grandma. I've become like, maybe auntie. And we bought your son his first little Strider bike and everything, right?
Yeah, and it's at the lodge today for other little babies to use.
That's right. He grew out of it. Is he riding with trainers or he's off of trainers?
He's been off trainers since he was 3 years old, and I want to thank you and your mom for giving him that gift of the little Strider, because it made him learn to balance at such a young age.
He's pretty amazing. He's pretty hardcore on a bike. That is a future mountain biker in the works because he's fearless. And it was neat because she then donated the bike back to the lodge for other people to use. So if you're coming to our area as a visitor and you don't have a bike with you, we can connect you with local bike shops. There's so many great bike shops in the area. We've got Routes Outfitter. We've got the Colorado Springs Bike Shop, Old Town Ted's, Criterium. I mean, love those guys that even invested in making my Buffalo Lodge dreams come true. So I always gotta go Criterium and Nick. They're amazing. But you can rent e-bikes. We are e-bike friendly. There are some people in the club that might judge a little bit, but we are not. I just bought our first e-bikes this year. I like taking an e-bike out for a nice day trip out to the mountains for a picnic. I think I'm going to do that on a date tomorrow.
Nice. There you go.
He hasn't ridden in a while. I'm like, I got you. We can take an e-bike. So, as long as you bike, that's all that matters for me. If you don't bike, I don't know.
That's what I wanted to mention, because you said earlier you were about to go there, but on our club rides, we have a lot of people that ride on e-bikes, and I think that it's awesome because so many more people can join and participate, and who cares? We're just out there together having
whatever
fun, being
keeps
on
you
bikes,
moving. I mean,
chasing our inner 10-year-old and having a good time.
Could you ever imagine, you have some kind of health ailment, and I think the saddest thing is to sit at home and to let that make you stop being part of the biking community. My grandmother was 93 years old when she became a bicyclist, riding on the back of my mom's recumbent tandem. She was blind and had back pain, trigeminal nerve pain, and for 4 years before she passed away, she was riding 2 weeks before she passed away, but for 4 years she was part of a community. Her blindness had taken her out of community and into a life of solitude, just listening to books on tape. And when we figured out that when my mom figured out that she could go buy a recumbent tandem and that my grandmother could still pedal, it was the most amazing thing. So, the most important thing is that you just keep moving.
That's awesome. A couple weeks ago, we had the rider when we were up at that flagpole way up at the top of the hill, the new optional ride that you found, and we had a new rider that had joined from your group and had come to our group during one of the breaks, and we didn't think she was coming up to the top because it was an out and back, and we were going to come back down, and then we saw that she was coming. She has only 40% of her lungs, and she joined our group, and she took that optional ride, and she made the top, and there were 15 of us probably.
Yeah, 16.
That all applauded for her. It was the coolest thing. That was one of the most special moments of my month. It's really neat.
That's amazing.
It was a special moment because that was a new climb that I recently found called Lanigan Place off of Flying W.
Yes, Lanigan. I
the
know that one
flagpole.
very well from my Ride for Heroes.
So
Yeah.
go on, Todd.
I was just gonna say that's the impressive thing is that I think Sheila said this. You know all the road names. Like at the beginning of the thing, you're like, I'm like, yeah, you go up the hill and then you come back down the hill and then there's another up the hill and then back down the hill. And Mike's like, Allegheny to Centennial.
So we also have our own bike jersey, and if you join the tribe, you can get a bike jersey. We're getting ready to go round 2, but I was kind of waiting, thinking like maybe our team, since we've got I think I've sold at least 600 jerseys at this point. It's kind of fun when I have a friend visiting Scotland and somebody sees our bike jersey there, or in England, and they're all over the place now. But I was going to have all these different iterations of jerseys. Like most clubs, they get a new jersey every year so that you have to buy a new jersey or whatever, and that they can put new sponsors on them. I decided to forego the sponsored jerseys, and I just made it pretty much, just a little over cost to buy them. But I feel like these jerseys stand out so well wherever you go that I just never wanted to change it. But I do have to say that new things are coming. This will still always be our base jersey, but I'm working on the crew, the button-up crew shirts.
Okay.
I'm going to get some button-up crew shirts. Yeah, we've got. I'm also going to get the racerbacks in these, but I'm kind of got some cool bike companies and stuff now that I want to be able to do some business with. So we might give a little bit of business to everyone. Primo, Pet Timo, Kids on Bikes makes our jerseys now. So, but it definitely, when you end up somewhere and you see that jersey, you have an instant friend, right?
Well, yeah, and it's funny how often we're on a ride and we'll see somebody coming the other way with you missed the ride, we're wearing a jersey.
Yeah, well, we've sold a lot of jerseys in 7 years and stuff. So you can find out more about our rides at bicycleresort.com. We have our ride schedule on there, the description. We're also on meetup.com for us and the Colorado Springs Cycling Club. What else, guys? Dave, anything else you want to, any dying questions that you have? How'd we do for our first video podcast?
I can't wait for you to see it, see what you think.
Oh, really? Okay. I might not wear the headsets because it's messing up my hair and everything. I mean, I did wear my new bicycle dress, though, for, the occasion.
Gotta show it off.
I got to show it off.
Show it off.
It's so cute.
Oh, my gosh. I found all these amazing little bicycle dresses with, if you can see that. Can you see that? I don't know. Might not have seen the right side right there, but I'm going to have to start looking nicer for our podcast, I think. But we didn't miss anything, huh? All right, Gail, we're forming a team for RAGBRAI 2024 right now. That ride is we took 26 people last year. We're actually kind of famous. This is the Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa in July. And we took 26 last year, I think 16 the year before and 24 the year before. But we're signing up for that team now. I think we're going to do the El Tour to Tucson next year and form a team for that. We have our team van, put it to good use. Michael has done shuttle for our friends on, what was that? Was it Triple Bypass?
The Triple Bypass event.
Triple Bypass. So we're working on getting involved in more rides that we can team shuttle to. So we have a 15-passenger van with bike racks for 15 on the top. So, watch for us coming to a ride near you. Yeah. And if you think that Colorado Springs, I was just in Denver. They don't know in Denver. They think Boulder is the place to ride. And I mean, you are missing out if you don't know Colorado biking. And if you don't know Colorado Springs biking, be sure to check out my Pedal the Springs podcast and some of our past issues. I talk about mountain biking Mecca. I talk about our urban trail system. Talk about winter biking. This is a great place for that too. But we really are a biking Mecca. There's hundreds of miles of bike trails, and call it paved paved bike trails. We're connecting more all the time. I mean, all the time. And then just, tons of mountain biking trails you can ride up and down Pikes Peak. I mean, if you've never done that here as a local, or if you're coming to visit, the opportunity to ride up Pikes Peak will definitely test you. I mean, I did it, I think it was 5 years ago now, 5-6 years ago. I did it with my 13-year-old son on a unicycle. If I could do it, he could do it. You could ride up Pikes Peak too. Daniel did it at 11 on a unicycle. It's kind of crazy, but this is just such a beautiful spot. We've got Garden of the Gods right in our backyard, and we hope you'll come and see us. Thank you guys so much for coming and being on our podcast today. All the beautiful people for our first video one. All right. Thank you, guys. Be sure to check out the show notes for links we mentioned in this episode and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, be sure to check out the other fine podcasts on Studio809podcast.com. Your local voices at the Pikes Peak region. Pedal the Springs podcast is produced by Studio 809 and presented by the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort, the only bicycle-themed lodging and must-stay for cyclists coming to Colorado Springs. Check us out at bicycleresort.com. Thank you. Woohoo! Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we say.